Once again, we're going on to page 8. We talked about brake changes, you know, the rotations that you make when you change the pin placement, and you got to make sure that you put the pin in there, and then once they're in that pin placement, the rider, then you want to put the second safety pin in. I mean, these are good trolleys, but it doesn't hurt to be too safe with life safety. We want people to be safe when they're ziplining. Warnings, you're going to need to have your warnings posted. You know, if you need somebody like me to come out and check out your course and see what warnings you need to display based on the standards, we can do that. You know, there's a fee. We can come out and test with these trolleys and bring, you know, a dozen or so of trolleys, come out and test your course. We'll bring spring systems, see if it's right for you. But these are great trolleys. I've been testing them since 2016. I became a zipline expert in 2015 with my first case at Olympic Park. And I've had a bunch of cases that I wished I didn't have to do. I wished I didn't have to read an autopsy because of a case. I wished I didn't have to see a $27 million payout because a guy lost a leg on a case that I was on in Mazatlan. You know, people are in bad shape, and if you're not doing what you need to be doing, I'm not going to give you any leeway. Somebody's livelihood has changed because of you didn't follow training or you didn't follow a manual. That's why we try to make our manuals short, interactive, and, you know, train with them. Use them for part of your training. Nothing in there says what you have to do or must do. It's your course. Figure out what your jurisdiction requires, and then go over and above that. Don't just because it offers 10 years of training or 10 hours of training for the year. Don't just train as much as you can and document it. You know, take a guide out on separate events where the manager is with the other guide, you know, and they can evaluate them and, you know, maybe pay them more for knowing things. You can't say enough about good staff, and pay them well. If they're good staff, pay them well. You know, if you can get college students that are engineering minded or outdoors minded, you know, that's a good thing. And so, but train. And then whenever you're making a brake change, we're going to hit that one again, as we've hit it a lot. You always have to use a guide to test the brake. When that brake rotates, you no longer can run a participant down until you've fully tested this new brake surface. There may be something on it, and once again, we've talked about that you can have your guide put a carabiner over the top of the brake material, and he can pull down and apply a little bit of brake. But, you know, if your guides are doing their job, you're not compressing the springs fully. And so when the brake change is needed to be made, they'll know the course well enough that if they do make the brake change, you know, they might need to be in a pin placement different than what they're in. You know, they'll pull the pin and move it, and, you know, and then they know they're going to be safe. But, you know your course. I mean, I can't say enough about that. Know your course, every area of your course, and you can keep people safe. So, post warnings, that's part of that page. You want to make sure that you have boards that say, this is pin placement 5 or 7 or whatever at this temperature, this temperature, this temperature, and also post your temperature gauges. I would recommend buying a new temperature gauge that you can just put on the wall that might be spring activated, so it's based on the steel spring in there, and as it gets warmer it expands, kind of like your cable, or it gets colder it shrinks, kind of like your cable. Know your cable. Know what your cable does every day. That's what a lot of individuals don't realize, is the cable is the #1 determiner for how fast your riders are going to come in. Beauty of the safety of this trolley is it's not as big of a guessing point. You don't have to guess as much, where when you have heavier different weights of riders, you're coming in at all kinds of different forces of momentum. This trolley takes a lot of the momentum out of ziplining. And I am Momentum Engineering. Thank you.